Julio Cruz and Gaylord Perry to Alvin Davis and Harold Reynolds to father and son back to back bombs. From Junior J, Joey, and Edgar with Randy, A Rod, Dan, and the Sheriff to Ichiro Moyer and Mikey C to King Felix, Kyle Cruz, and Cano to the present with Julio, Gilbert, Kirby, and Cal. I don't believe it. It just continues. My, oh my. It's another sports podcast. My, oh my. The sports calendar is not very hot right now, but we still got NBA, college hoops. My man loves his WWE. We'll get into that a bit later. We still got the NFL Combine, which might not be either of our favorite things to watch on TV, but it is extremely important to the NFL calendar. But y'all know, super producer Indy, shout out to Nashville, Tennessee, rocking the ones and twos. That's Vaden Podcast Services. Vaden Podcast Services bringing the show to life. Got to give a huge shout out to the live chat, bringing the fire, dropping knowledge, telling jokes. But of course, my main man from Albuquerque, man, he's deep like the shine and he sparkles like a diamond. RG, what's going on, bro?
Just because you have a gun doesn't mean that you're a gangster. You're just some victim that some gangster would be too. So hold your gun and watch your tongue before some gangster niggas beat the gangster out of you. Let's get to work.
Oh, we coming with it deep and heavy, man. Well, not a lot of work's being done from our vantage point. We love baseball. We love football. Neither of those beautiful games are in there with the regular season or playoff fire. But we'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little bit about the NFL Combine. RG, I know you're really not a fan. I honestly don't like watching it on TV, but I do check a lot on my cell phone just to see what's going on. This is the chance for, like you say, well, it's kind of the meat market out there. We're splitting hairs over guys that have proven it on the field. The combine is an opportunity to try to find a hidden gem or two. But before I toss it to you, man, to me, and I think you're the same way, man, the film don't lie. Either you can play or not play, but sometimes the combine can confirm. And your boy Saquon Barkley, the combine confirmed what we've seen out of this dude. This freak show had more bench reps than Joe Thomas, a faster 10-yard split than Deshaun Jackson, a faster 40-yard dash than Devin Hester, and a higher vertical jump than Julio Jones. Your boy Saquon Barkley was an absolute freak show at the combine, and Lord knows in 2024, that's exactly what he was amongst the greatest athletes on the planet.
Well, I even look at someone like Braden Fisk, who, because I'm a Florida State fan, it was interesting to get to see his last year and it helped propel him. Then you look at someone like Chris Jones, who, when running the 40, slipped and fell while he was out there doing his workout. I don't really get into the combine. I don't really get into the draft. I really only pay attention to things that count. Baseball has spring training right now. I don't live. I mean, I talk a lot of shit in our group text off air about it. You know, first day Mariners lost 10-0. I was like, blow it up. It's already a wrap. We're going 0 and 162. We suck. Fired everybody. But I really only pay attention to the things that matter. But I do know when it comes to the combine, even though I may not be a fan of it, it is a chance for you to go out there and prove your worth. Oh, don't worry, Ginger Fit Dad. I'm definitely gonna get to the elimination chamber. I'm definitely gonna get to the elimination chamber. Um, but yeah, I just only noteworthy thing to me, and that was just following the bullshit alert from ESPN, where I want to say his name is Isaiah Bond, was talking about how he was going to be faster than Worthy's 40 time and didn't even come close to it. So again, before a gangster comes and beats the gangster out of you, keep your mouth shut and just go out there and go to work. But I'm sure it'll help. I'm not sure if either Ward or Shador were performing this week, if they were just going to save it for their pro day, or if they were going to have a cameras off workout for them. But, for some of the guys who are trying to earn their keep, it definitely is a way to get them put on the map. So good luck to them, man. Good luck.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Another huge part of the combine is front office GM scouts talking amongst themselves with other teams. RG, the Russell Wilson trade from Seattle to Denver, almost the entirety of the trade came about at the combine in someone's hotel room or conference room at one of the hotels. But dog, one of the words coming out of the combine is insiders are expecting Howie Roseman to be very aggressive in the pursuit of Myles Garrett. I just looked it up. Your Eagles have 17.5 million in cap room already. We know Howie and his staff can easily manipulate the numbers with the best of them to make sure that move works. Talks to me, man. How aggressive would you want your Eagles to be going after a premier edge rusher?
The misconception that we have as fans is when we see a team do it once, we automatically think that they could do it twice. And you know as well as I do that year two is never like the prior year because you're going to lose guys to free agency. There's just going to be guys you can't afford to keep. There's going to be not only roster changes, but personnel changes. We lost Kellen Moore to become the head coach of the Saints, promoted within to replace him. So it's never going to be a carbon copy of what it was before. But what I do like about Howie is the attention to know that those things are coming.
Mm,
So this time compared to the 2022 season, I feel that he was just going to wait and let it be dictated him how he was going to move. He already had to have a plan on how he was going to move even before we got to New Orleans. Because at that point, there's nothing he can do to control the game. That's what the coaching staff is for. But what he can begin to do is to see what it is he's going to have to replace moving forward. And as much as I love a guy like Josh Sweat and Milton Williams and whatnot, if they're going to go get the bag, by all means, let them go get the bag. If we replace that with a Miles Garrett, I don't care who the Redskins go out with, because the last time I checked, Debo didn't play defense, and he can't he can't stop us from putting up 55 points on him. To me, that was the biggest news of the weekend was the Debo Samuel trade to Washington for, I believe, what was a fifth round pick,
just a fifth.
just the fifth. And I wonder how much the Debo's health reflected on his production numbers, and that he's not considered the weapon he once used to be. But an offense with Jalen Daniels playing the way that he played in his rookie season, with Terry McLaurin with that speed, and now Debo, that team might be fun to watch
Mm.
and might be giving us some fits in the NFC East. But we still, everything looks good on paper, but we'll see how it comes down to it when the season actually begins.
No doubt, no doubt. We got a couple of the homies back up in here. Huge shout out Ginger Fit Dad, one of our favorites who's come back. Sure, you've been with your kid a ton. Tyson Baxter, I do have a couple of combine favorites. Like I said, I'm not big at all. I probably watched 10, 15 minutes max the entire 4 days it's been televised, but I do always look at my phone to see what's going on. And Armand Membu, RG, offensive lineman that might be a target of the Seahawks, as the athletic profile like a Jason Peters. I know you could speak on what a beast Peters was for
Hmm.
years with the Philadelphia Eagles. And then also I see the guys on the live chat, Nick M and Worry, safety for South Carolina. His athletic profile to me, RG, would be if DK Metcalf played safety.
Holy shit. Just a freak,
So
huh?
freak show, absolute freak show. He's really, really good. He's a really, really good football player, athletically tested even better than he's shown on film. But so Armand Membu and Nick Omenwari are the two guys that stood out to me because if you could get a Peters or DK Metcalf type of dude, DK Metcalf at safety, that is, absolute monsters, game changers for your team. But yeah, man, I mean, the combine tricks people more than it helps GMs. I swear to God. Speak on this. Do you think the combine has hurt GMs by forgetting what they actually did on the field? Because you can be a fantastic athlete. It doesn't mean you're a good football player.
The first two that come to mind is someone like Jamarcus Russell.
Mm.
Because if you put Jamarcus Russell in a controlled environment where you're just measuring his attributes, I'm sure the guy looks like the Incredible Hulk. Um, when you were just measuring Anthony Richardson's arm strength in a controlled environment where you're just seeing how far that boy can bomb it, I'm sure it gets you daydreaming about things that could possibly be. But for me, like you said earlier, the kid from the linebacker from Penn State, I don't think he has much to do. His film is already there. I was shocked to see three guys off the Michigan defense rated in the top 15, just because to me, if you have three guys rated that high in the top 15, you would have had a better season. Um, I didn't see Shador in anyone's top 15, which was a little shocking to me. Um, and we'll just all see how this all plays out. I think it kicks off the road to us getting to the draft, and we'll let the NFL Live analysts go through the possibilities of who they think that these guys can be and what they can turn into. For me, I just want to see how we're going to build up the defense for Philly, because we are going to lose some pieces. It's going to be impossible for us to keep everybody. But not only how, but who we replace them with. If we can do something like Myles Garrett, I'll take it. There's also been some water cooler talk about maybe a move for another former Penn State linebacker. Uh, Currently plays for the Dallas Cowboys, named Micah Parsons. Might even have, might even be moving somewhere. I think Dallas would be absolutely stupid to let go of him. But if I know anything is possible, the Eagles did end up with Saquon Barkley. So let's see. I don't think that Jerry and Stephen Jones are that dumb. But if they just so happen to have too much Kool-Aid that night, send them on through.
Man, it sounds like you need to get some sneaky James Bond type of server up in there, man, and maybe overserve them one of these nights. You gotta help your team out a little bit, bro.
Right. Zach Wilson, like Tyson Baxter says, Zach Wilson was another one where,
Hmm.
in those environments, if we're just at practice, um, I'm sure he did look like a top 10 pick. But only reason Zach Wilson can't be the biggest bust is because Daniel Jones is still around. So,
Oh, and then Trey Lance was picked directly after Zach Wilson too. I mean,
dude, just tough for them.
and there's ballers, and that's why RG though. I think you need to be careful when these teams are drafting at the top, and we're gonna see it again this year. I actually do like Cam Ward, and I do like Shador Sanders. Do you think I like him in the top five though, where they're probably gonna go? Absolutely not.
Yeah, and like Ginger Fit Dad says, even for Zach Wilson and Daniel Jones, you get Bo Nix. And I would say that even a guy like Cooper Jean benefited from it,
Mhm.
for them to really be able to get out there and see it. And everyone wanted to stay away from the stigma that, hey, how he was willing to play ball with him. Um, Sadly, I saw Jaron Reed, and this is that time of year where it's really all just speculation. We don't know who's coming across to really do what. Um, Having some picture problems on the YouTube from my live feed right now, but maybe see if Indy can just get that back to normal for me somehow, or I may just have to go with the avatar tonight. But nevertheless, man, just it's one of those times where we just we'll wait and see. We'll just wait and see how it all plays out. still what got a better part of a month until it's draft time, almost a month and a half before everybody meets up for the
Hmm.
draft. Not even sure where it's at this year. Is it Detroit?
Green Bay.
Green Bay. Green Bay. Ugh. Green Bay
Yeah,
and early opening.
I'll be
That sounds
interested to see how that
disgusting.
one goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, man. But good. It's exciting for those kids, man. Just to know that your this work you've put in for the better part of 20 years could be on the benefit of finally getting you paid. So let's so hope the best for them, man. Hope the best for everybody.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, the odds of making it from high school football, from junior high football, all the way to the NFL combine is an incredible journey in itself. Whether these guys end up playing one preseason in the league or they end up playing for 15 years, even you just think back, man. Think back to when you were younger. You see these ballers, your friends, your peers. Man, he's good. Man, he's good. And that dude never sniffed college. Then you think about how good you have to be to play in college, then how good you have to be of a college football player to make it to the NFL. It really is an incredible journey. I don't like seeing this though. RG Mariners Life for telling us Jaron Reed leaked to the Eagles, and you know what? We know it's Lion season, but we also know that agents are going to put their news out there because it's better for their client if more teams think more teams are involved. And I'll tell you this for a fact: Jaron Reed is a dog in the middle of your D line, and it would be a major blow to the Seahawks and a huge positive to whoever signs him. I truly hope the Seahawks can find a way to bring him back.
We'll definitely help you guys. We'll definitely help you guys. If not, I'm going to continue the war with Indy I have about how much his football team sucks.
Oh, get out of here. We're mid. As the kids would say, we're mid.
Y'all ain't even mid. Y'all like the 3 a.m. jump off when ain't nobody else answering the phone. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So yeah, we got NFL combine going, spring training is starting to get going for Major League Baseball. Mariners have had some inconsistent efforts so far, and then we've had games where we finally caught up with some people in the offense. But again, to me, none of this really matters until we get to the end of March and actually do it for real. But what has been good is that so far we're almost into it for 2 weeks and no major injury news has
Mm.
come out. So we damn sure did get the season kind of off the wrong foot, not getting everybody healthy in and out of spring training. What do you think the mindset is for some of these guys who are coming back off and some of the guys who we need to physically protect to get them to April? Do we kind of limit the amount of practice that they get? Do we keep them in the training room? Do we just let them enjoy the Arizona desert for 30 days, or do we need them to get out there and work? What do you think?
Well, no doubt, being in Arizona, you could attest to this since you're from New Mexico, man. That heat just makes your whole body feel better. Every time I've ever gone to the Southwest in the winter and you leave the Pacific Northwest winter and get down there in the sun, your entire body, all your joints feel way better. So honestly, the dude should feel better playing ball down there compared to up here. I also think the Mariners, for all their flaws, whatever system they're using to try to keep their pitchers healthy is working better than most teams in baseball right now. So they got to keep that up. You're right though. Spring training is so tough to gauge for me because none of us know. Mitch Garver's hitting like 560 right now. Is he going to hit 560 all year? No. I
No.
said it. I said it last episode. Jorge Polanco looked like Ichiro on steroids, man. Last spring, we saw what happened, and so you got to take it all with a grain of salt. One thing I seen though, two highlights. I've barely seen a ton because there's not really anything televised. It's what I get on the local news in the morning for Pete's sakes. Julio with the right center field double and Mitch Garver with the right center field home run. That's what we need to see, more opposite field hitting, especially
Mhm.
the Julio double. We need to see him take that next step. We need to. The team needs him. His contract needs him. The city needs. We really need him to take a step. And it's really going to be fun to see Logan Gilbert, your boy, had a very positive, only 1 and 2/3 innings. So maybe that's the key, the slow ramp up. But you're right, though, man. If there's any team where it could go sideways fast, it's the Mariners because if we have two arms go down, so pitching reliant, it might get really rough really quick.
Interesting stat there, Ginger Fit Dad says that Garver seems to do better in odd year seasons, so there's a chance he's a lot better this year. I I just want to see us hit consistently. I don't want to see us in the bottom half of the standings on team batting average and us competing with the White Sox to see who's going to have the worst overall lineup in Major League Baseball. That should be embarrassing. And if you are playing on a team that is trending that way, it should be embarrassing to you that you haven't got out there and put in the work in the cage to try to make sure that you're hitting at a consistent clip. Having Edgar in the mix, even though he's more of the overseer than he is the actual guy who'll be out there working with it, I hope pay some dividends for us. But we need to be able to bat better than the minimum over the Mendoza line to make any noise
Hmm.
if we're ever going to think of competing for anything, as not only in the AL West, but to try to reach the Holy Grail for us and to end that drought of us being the only team that hasn't made the World Series.
Yeah, no doubt. I just want to pipe in with Ginger Fit though, real quick, RG. Mitch Garver is one of the most random statistical anomalies we've ever seen in baseball, maybe all of sports. This dude, the last 7 years or so, in odd years, puts up all-star numbers. And in even numbered years, he is like a AAA quality hitter. It is the most odd thing ever. Age is going against him. We just got to cross our fingers and hope that maybe this sticks to this oddly consistent run that he's had in the major leagues. And it is so weird though. Like it's so drastic. Literally all-star hitting versus AAA hitting in the odd to even years.
Well, he is from Albuquerque, so we are the Cinco Cero Cinco. So since we an odd number, maybe he just lives that to the fullest. I personally want to see Garver succeed. I followed his career from high school to college because he did also play his college ball here at the university. To being happy that an Albuquerque guy was a part of a world championship team and that he performed well on. Good to see him. I don't know if I can always say the same for Bregman because it just irks me the whole trash can scandal theme because to me those guys were good and they didn't need to do that.
Mhm.
But for Garver, I do want to see him succeed. I'm a little more personally invested on it because he also does play for the Mariners. Um, but yeah, man, if this is one of those weird years where he's gonna come out and beat Ted Williams, let it motherfucking rain. Let it rain. I saw an interesting stat about Ted Williams that when he came back from his 3 years of military service, he was a better hitter. So maybe we need to send some of these guys to war for a couple years and have them come back and just begin to dominate. Excuse me. Um, with Julio, if Julio hit 320 with 20 home runs, I take it.
Yeah.
I take it. I take it all day. I take it all day if he is just Frank Thomas roping the ball to the gaps compared to him trying to hit 40 home runs. I would take Julio batting 313 with 20 home runs and a bunch of RBIs all day compared to the stat that we want to fall in love with him with, and that's home runs.
Hmm.
Um, and to see if a Rosenreina can offer him any protection in the lineup. Um, Cal's going to do what Cal does. Cal's going to do what Cal does, but to me, it's really Rosenreina who needs to find a way to get back to being his productive self. And if we can have that protection around Julio, think he gets to see more pitches, and that just works out better for him.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Season nothing. Oh man, Texas Power Ranger coming through already, talking that mess, man. But you got a ring and we don't, so I can't really say too much to you because I am counting championships now in my days of being a sports fan.
Yeah, no doubt, no
It's
doubt. I mean, I can't get over it, dude. You know I'm gonna be optimistic about this team, this exact squad, until proven otherwise. But it's not like I even really think I have World Series aspirations, but I do this think this team can be better than last year. We just need, like you're saying, man, spray the ball around more. Spray the ball around more. That is why Edgar Martinez was brought in. I frankly think that they had to, that we were so beholden to the analytics. Whatever the analytics say, we're going to follow it. But at some point, your gut feel has to come into play. And even more importantly, RG, the fundamentals of baseball you've been taught since day one will still come into play. That's where Edgar's there for us. We know his slow ass would get doubles down the right field line all the time. None of it was because of speed. All of it was because of hitting.
absolutely, man. See ball, hit ball. Hit the ball where it's pitched. None of this. Let's get some launch angle and see if we can get this out of here. Let's rely on 3-run home runs instead of naturally manufacturing runs across the plate. I The way that analytics is used in today's game isn't the way that analytics was used to build those Oakland A's teams of the past under Billy Bean, and even the way that Theo Espin built the 2004 and 2007 Red Sox. It definitely isn't used that way. That's what the frustrating thing is to me about the whole thing. But analytics has just found its way in and is taking over. And if you don't think the analytics can ruin something, I'd offer you the NBA product.
Mm.
Absolutely, man. But optimistic for the Mariners as always. 10 toes down, true to the blue. Can't wait to can't wait to see it popping, man. Always a thrill when baseball season starts. Um, just hoping that we can get through these next 3.5 weeks of March healthy.
Mm.
Healthy with everybody available, off to a good start, and then kind of see how it plays out. Houston isn't going to be the same as what they were only because their pipeline is almost kind of dried up, unlike how it was when they had enough in the chamber to be able to let guys like Correa and George Springer go, and the next guy would just come up and be just as good as a superstar as he is. I definitely think that losing Kyle Tucker is going to be major for them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we proved that over the last 2 seasons we can compete with them. So it's definitely time to chase down the big bad wolf and see what type of opposition that the Angels and the A's put up as well too. Um, Rangers still going to have this guy named Corey Seager who's all world. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely get to see how it goes, man, moving forward for us.
Yeah, no doubt, man. It is frustrating as a Mariners fan. We know they easily could have done so much more, but this is the year, man. I can't stress it enough. I don't. I'm just looking at the division, man. The Angels are gonna run out Yusei Kikuchi as their freaking ace. Houston is as down as they're going to be. All we can pray on is that they've lost enough guys, but the pedigree's there. And I think all of us would raise our hands and think Texas is primed for a bounce back season. All that being said, the Mariners, this is the time right now. And it sucks we didn't bring in more thoroughbreds, but this is what it is. The division has been really tough recently. This is finally our chance, man. They got to break through, or I don't see it happening in the near future.
No, no, this is the end. This is the end of the window that was so promising 4 years ago. This is the absolute end of that window being opening because we're not going to be able to keep our pitching staff together much more longer to keep having these sub successful seasons. It's not about where we stand in June, it's about where we stand that final week of September. I don't know if I said this the last time or if this was a conversation we had off mic. It took them 3.5 months to build that 10-game lead last year and lost it in 2.5 weeks. It's painful,
That's unfathomable.
just
Unbelievable.
painful. And they're lucky that it didn't happen in September or be considered one of the top 10 choke jobs in baseball history.
Mhm.
if not a top five. So still a lot of work to be done. We don't have any choice but to trust the powers that be. But as optimistic as I am, my pitchfork is just right here to the side of me whenever it's time to start marching in the streets to burn it down.
Oh man, that's good. That's good. I am pumped though, man. I am pumped. We'll see what happens. Being a Mariners fan is a roller coaster at best. We all know it. We love them. They don't love us, and I still just
They
keep
don't.
riding.
They don't. And I hear you, Ginger Fit Dad. I still can't put this all on service because he's not the guy in the front office who made the moves that he did to tie up the money in the Mitch squared that he did. Um, to not pick up the phone for certain guys. Uh, can we talk about how shitty Bleacher Report is now? Oh man, we'll get to that as well too. But um, Service was had to be the fall guy for it because as far as the frustration that as a fan we have with Hollander and DePito, they are doing Stanton service for him. They are making that guy head over fist money, and he doesn't really care if the product on the field gets to where we want it to be because his pockets aren't hurting because of it. If pockets were hurting because of it, those guys would have been out the door with service. But they're doing his bidding. The team is profitable. They're in business for profit. How can he get rid of them? If all of a sudden people stop showing up and we fail in attendance and we fail in revenue, then the Pito and Hollander might be under the hot seat. But as long as we keep turning those turnstiles and buying hot dogs and buying grasshoppers or whatever else the fuck they sell at T-Mobile Park, those guys aren't going anywhere. Um,
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
yeah, man.
I just want to add something too. Is everything you just laid out there is like Jerry DePoto is a model employee.
Hmm.
He truly is. Do
He
we
is.
like it? Absolutely not. But look, of all the shit that he's gone through from the ownership to him, he's never thrown the ownership under the bus ever. He has always been a complete company man. He always tells the media and the fans that ownership is doing everything possible. It pisses me off, but there's no question he's just a model employee, and that is going to gain him extra years with this organization, no matter which
Absolutely.
way it goes.
Absolutely. Hell no. Hell no. Mom needs to show up so you can get the hell away from me. Uh, but absolutely right, man. He's good at what he does. It's just the thing that we want him to be good at, he's absolutely horrible at. And that's putting together a dominant offensive lineup for a professional baseball team.
Well,
Every
what's
other
crazy to
metric,
me? Go ahead.
yeah, every other metric that you ask him to meet, he meets it with flying fucking colors. It's the one that's the glaring thing about him that he sucks at isn't the thing that his job review is based upon every year. He'd be out the fucking door.
Yeah, no doubt. Jerry DePoto and his staff has done the harder part. The harder part is building a young core that you can win with. That's the hard part because you got to draft, sign international teenagers, develop them all the way up to the major leagues, and then we can't somehow sign a couple free agent bats. I mean, that's what's crazy to me, bro. Is they're doing the hard part and they can't finish it when they're almost there. And I know ownership, don't get me started. Ownership is a huge issue in this, but you're right, man. That double Mitchwich, man, that's like 36, 38 million dollars, man. That could get us some real fucking hitting. Period.
Sure could. Sure could. I just, again, just the thing that is holding us together to me is the thing that has to get broken apart for our offense to get better. And I know that there's people who would follow us in Bleacher who would say that we're crazy for thinking like that. But I just don't see any other way around it. There's no way we're gonna be able to get a impact bat and keep all five of those guys on the rotation. Someone has to go.
Mm.
Someone has got to go. I don't want to part ways with any of our pitching staff, but I want an offensive powerhouse that can help get us over the brink. And my wishes are just going to fall to the wayside. But again, just he's very good at his job, except the one aspect that we want him to be better at, and that's never going to come up in peer review in his job review.
For real, man.
Yes,
That's why
sir.
that's why alcohol sales are so good at T-Mobile Park, man. People are drinking their blues away at that shit, man.
Hopefully, I get a chance to join them up there this year.
I still love it,
Don't.
man. I can't get over how beautiful of a ballpark it is.
It really is, man. It really is. And every time I'm lucky enough to get to go to Seattle to go to a game, it prides me that we have one of the most beautiful parks in all of Major League Baseball. It just sucks that when you look up there to the right field and there's only three banners that hang up there. And those banners are really, really old. It's time. It's time to add something to it.
And they don't even say American League champs. We
Nope.
just want one that says AL champs. We ain't even asking for world champs. Well, we're so desperate. We'll take AL champs up there, and we can't even get that shit, dude. We're talking about how beautiful T-Mobile Park is. I talked about it with friend of the show Eric Neal a couple of weeks ago, bro. I gotta get your take, man. Seattle Mariners legend, the first Japanese-born player ever to make the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame, Ichiro. Talk to me on him, man.
Outside of Pete Rose, best hitter that's ever played baseball.
Mm.
I know that Ted Williams has the higher batting average. I know that Cobb is considered the man as well too. Um, this team has the Ichiro. We go somewhere because that guy's going to get up there and find a way to get on base. Um, One of my mom's favorite stories, God rest her soul, when she was living in Kansas City to see the Mariners play. There's a ball hit into the corner that Ichiro gets to, and on a one hop from the corner, right into the catcher's glove from the right field corner of fucking Kauffman Stadium. Just a unbelievable athlete for a guy who doesn't look like an athlete. Just the way he carried himself, the way he represented for us, the most diva-less superstar that there's ever been. And for him to, cause what was it? He didn't even get to the States until 28, 29, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I want to say 27, 28, but yeah,
20,
late
27,
20s.
28. And to amass 3,000 hits in that time.
Yeah.
Dude should have been, Dude should have easily been unanimous. But if Griffey wasn't and Jeter wasn't, I can't expect him to do it for Ichiro. But
Mm,
absolutely, man, if there's a guy who deserves to be enshrined, it is definitely Ichiro Suzuki.
no doubt, no doubt. I have it written
Speaking of
down
Pete
here.
Rose,
No, go.
speaking
I
of
just
Pete
want to put.
Rose, real quick, before I let you go.
No, go
Speaking of Pete
ahead.
Rose, if they don't fucking put that man in the Hall of Fame, I may not agree with the whole lot that Big T from the White House happened to say, but he sure did call out baseball for its hypocrisy and says that Pete Rose needs to be in the Hall of Fame and that he's going to issue him a posthumous pardon for his indictments in the 90s. I may not agree with the whole lot of it. We damn sure don't talk politics on this show. But shout out to Big T for standing up for Pete Rose.
Okay, I gotta ask you then right away. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez. Yes or no then for you?
Drugs. Drugs. I get it. I I hate to stand on that soapbox, but when you are physically cheating to give yourself a physical advantage over the guy, over your peers, over the peers who you're out there to compete against. It'll it'll be at least, what is it, before they're eligible to just be voted in by, I don't even know if their baseball has that like football does. But nah, man, they fucked themselves. They fucked every chance that they had to be considered one of the greats. Rafael Palmeiro. I'm
Mm.
not sure if Berkman ended up getting in after his admission, did he?
I don't think he made it. I
Um,
don't think so.
but Poppy did, and Poppy's PR campaign to me is what helped him. It's too late for those guys to do that. Um,
Mm.
I definitely think that Roger Clemens is one of the top five pitchers that has ever thrown a baseball in the major leagues, and I hate that that guy's not in. But you cheated your peers, you cheated the game, you cheated your system, and the arrogance that you went around about doing it that way to then
Okay.
want to get in now on the bucket. Let's let bygones be bygones tip. Sorry, man, I can't do it for you. Stand, keep that same energy. Keep that same energy when you were walking around acting like you were the shit and untouchable. Keep that same fucking energy now that you want public sympathy to get you into the halls.
Okay.
I went to Angel Stadium to go see a Mariner game this year. I sat on the field level of the first baseline, and to get to see in person from where that batter's box is to where the top of that gigantic scoreboard is in right field, and to know that in the 2002 World Series, Barry Bonds hit a ball over that fucking scoreboard. And it hates me. I hate it with Barry too. I hate it. I hate it with Barry so much because that
Mm.
guy is so fucking talented. And I'm not even a Giants fan. I'm not even a Pittsburgh fan. Barry Bonds is the most talented fucking player to ever play baseball. Just sucks ass. Sucks ass that we're here and have to have that conversation.
You're just drawing a line in the sand then, because clearly you love Barry, but that you're just drawing that line in the sand. That's too far for you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
No,
Especially
I
with the
get it.
arrogance. Especially with the arrogance. And I get
Okay.
it. Your dad grew up in a time where the climate for us being us was very hard in this country. But you didn't go through that. They were kissing your ass. And you
Mm.
chose this path for us to be on. Responsibility and the humility, dog. If I was Kim Lamar, sit down, be humble.
Okay. And and Tyson Baxter saying it too. I see other guys. You say it all the time. I mean, as a kid, dude, in the Pacific Northwest, I had a poster of Barry Bonds when he was on the Pirates. Like this dude had two Hall of Fame careers, literally. He has a Kobe Bryant type of career. The dude had two Hall of Fame careers, but I mean, it's so obvious how much it helped him too, and it kills me because Barry should be up there with Willie Mays and Griffey Jr. and Hank Aaron and Mickey Mantle and Joe D. He should be in there with all the best ever, but that's not the case. But it's hard for me to get over RG. The dude's athletic peak was at like 36 or 37. There's only one
Nuts.
way. There's only
Fucking
one way. One way.
just
72 home runs at
insane.
36? Nah, bro.
73, don't short him. 73.
No shit. I did short him. Shit, man.
It's insane, bro. Just insane, man. Tyson Baxter's in here playing GM, saying we can have anyone other than Jackson and Adley because they need an ace. Uh, man,
Okay, with all this, Archie, I got a question for you then. Of all the Mariners starters, minor leaguers included, who would you choose to trade if you were in that situation?
Harry Ford,
We need to move him
Harry
though.
Ford, Harry Ford,
I don't think Tyson wants him though. I don't but I
because he
hear you
has
though.
because he has Adley. Because he has Adley, but to me, and the reason why it comes off so quickly is I go back to the international tournaments, and Harry Ford is a starter on England's national team during any international tournament that we have. So to me, he has a profile that looks more like a professional than anybody else does. Even though Emerson got to come up, um, Locklear got to come up. Ford hasn't had the chance to come up because Cal is a god and Mitch can catch, but um, Ford has the most professional looking resume to me out of all of them. So that's why I say Ford.
Okay. I want to go then because you have always said the Mariners, with their budget constraints, are going to be forced to possibly trade one of their great starters. Of all the great starters we have, who would you move off if it was needed to balance the team out and make a serious run?
Luis and Bryce Miller.
Okay. Tell me why.
Luis and Bryce Miller. Luis being the elder statesman of the staff. And I know he has the no trade, but if we are going to keep any of them for the longevity of the run, I would rather it be Wu, Kirby, and Logan. If we had to move off the two, I would move Luis and Bryce. And the only reason why Bryce is on my list of it, just because to me, if we can only keep three, he would be the odd man out.
Mm.
I would rather much, even though I got tired. Kirby's attitude, that one where he didn't want to go back into the game, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Um, Ginger Fit said he would trade Kirby before Miller. Miller started the game that I went to, so I got to actually see him in action, man, and I love that kid. I really, really do. But out of the five of them, for me, he would be the one that I would personally choose to let go of. And I could be wrong. But you give me
Hmm.
Kirby, you give me Wu, you give me Logan. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, all these pitchers are really good. To me, there's not a wrong answer. To me, it depends how aggressive and how high of a quality player you're looking to receive. Tyson's talking about even trading Gunnar Henderson. Now that might take a George Kirby for Pete's sakes, and I would honestly be down. I know you'll hate me for saying it. I could possibly trade Kirby too. And my only reasoning is, like you so eloquently said a minute ago, we're not going to be able to pay everybody. And if their careers stay on the track, George Kirby and Logan Gilbert will both get top of the market deals. So one of them's going to have to go at some point.
True, Kirby had the worst year of all of our starters, but I also think that he's the most accurate of the pitchers that we have. As far as a guy that can get strikes in the strike zone. I love when
Mm-hmm.
I love when they do those counts where if you don't pay attention for 3 or 4 games, you've realized that that guy has only thrown like 4 balls in in like 19 innings of gameplay for him. Um, but yeah, man, it's going to get hard for us to keep that pitching staff together. I'm with you. This was the year for us to make the offensive move to try to get it all together. We obviously didn't do that. Um, I'm not hating on him, but I'm not hating on Miller at all. But there's just there's something to me personally. This is just my opinion about it, and I could be wrong, but there's just something to me about when Kirby is on and he's not doing millennial crybaby and he's not doing his generational whining just because he's under 26 years old and can't deal with pressure at times. I really think that he is number two for us behind Logan. Um, Kirby may want out. Kirby may want out. I like Wu. That's why I would try to keep Wu as well too. I think that Wu has that same type of dog in him that Logan has, and would love for that to be at our disposal. But we'll see how it goes. If Kirby wants to be a Yankee, then fucking let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Kirby wants
Oh,
to be a Yankee, let
he's
him
from
go.
New York. He's
Yeah,
from New York. So
yeah.
that
So
would make
yeah,
sense
man.
though to trade him back east. I mean, RG, I gotta lay this on to you. You couldn't be more right about Kirby and his control. This is utterly ridiculous. I can't even believe it. George Kirby has 89 starts in his career and 64 walks. George
Yes.
Kirby has 25 more starts than career walks. That's fucking bananas.
Hey man, the proof is in the pudding there, man. I get you, Junior Fit Dad. I like Miller, but Kirby's good, man. Kirby's really good. Um, lot of decision making to come down if we can't get the success we want out of this season. It's going to
Mhm.
break a lot of hearts, and this team isn't going to be together in its current construction. I think after this season, so it's now or never with these guys. Second best pitching staff in baseball. And I only say that we're the second best because the Dodgers are only going to run out four guys who will run a Cy Young, two guys from Japan who can absolutely dominate. And sometime later on this year, this guy fucking named Shohei Ohtani is going to be able to pitch for him. So I I definitely say that we have one of the top 2-3 staffs in baseball. This is the year we have to get payoff for it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, the contracts are coming up so fast we can't even blink, man. Your boy Logan Gilbert's got 2 years left. That's why I'll be a little more optimistic. I give the Mariners a 2-year window starting this season.
Dave,
And that's being optimistic because I could easily see them trading Logan or Kirby a year before they hit free agency so they don't walk for nothing. Do I like it? No, but that's certainly being realistic about the situation.
true. And where are we at with Cal's contract?
He would be 3 years out, the
3 years
exact
still
same
at
as
the pro.
Kirby.
All
Yeah.
right.
So Gilbert's at 2, and the Kirby and Cal are 3.
All right. So
I mean, that shit's closing fast, man.
it is. It is. It's fast. It's faster than the daydreaming of what could have been when we came out of 2022.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. That time flies fast when you're not making the playoffs and blowing 10-game leads.
Well, we're seeing Brian Woo, because my oh my loves a little nature boy Ric Flair. The live
Come
chat's
on.
been saying it. You brought it earlier. What's up? You can't see me. What's up, John Cena?
Dude, dude. All right. Here it is. Here it is. I have been a wrestling fan my whole life. I was there in 1996 when Hulk Hogan turned his back on WCW and they formed the NWO. I was 17 years old, senior in high school, when Stone Cold Steve Austin did the unthinkable and created an alliance with Vince McMahon to beat The Rock at WrestleMania 17. I have been waiting for the better part of 20 years for John Cena to go back to the persona he first had when he first started getting notoriety. And last night at the Elimination Chamber, when The Rock asked Cody Rhodes to sell his soul, and Cody told The Rock to go fuck yourself, and Cena gave him a hug, and The Rock looked at Cena, and Cena looked at The Rock, and he gave him the signal. And in front of 38,000 fans in the Rogers Center in Toronto, John Cena proceeded to kick Cody Rhodes in the balls and gave us diehard wrestling fans the moment we had wanted to see with Cena for 20 years. And he now turned heel.
There we go.
Was
Was it
great, baby.
okay? Was it a pay-per-view event?
Absolutely a pay per view event. Well, they don't have traditional pay per view. Their pay per views are done on Peacock. So if you
Oh,
buy the Peacock subscription, you get what they now, and they're not called pay per views anymore. They call them premium live events.
oh, okay, okay.
Um, but yeah, Cody Rhodes straight told John Cena to go fuck himself, and I don't mean that as me playing it up for the show. That is what he actually said on the broadcast: was go fuck yourself.
Oh, that's new.
The first
Maybe not.
time I ever have heard something like that come across as naturally as it's supposed to on do whatever new wave that they're in, and Triple H being the guy at the helm now, and just trying to make it seem as realistic as they can. That dude is cooking, and he gave a true wrestling fan what they wanted to see, and John Cena turned heel.
Okay. I mean, you know me, I was huge into wrestling as a kid and a younger teen. I haven't really watched in 25 years, bro. But correct me if I'm wrong, isn't there basically a point where every huge baby face needs to turn heel?
Well, that's where we were at with Cena's character.
Okay.
That's where
Okay.
we were at with Cena's character, where it had been 22 years since the last time he played a heel persona. And his heel run didn't last long because people started cheering him during that heel run. But just the way it all came together last night was just perfect. Was just perfect. And then even the way he sold it after they were doing their post event conference. He walked into the interview room, he took the mic out the stand and just dropped it and
Oh.
walked right out. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man, it for us old school fans, it was something that was long overdue.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because
That's
you
awesome.
really only get one of those seismic needle change moments once every so often years. And even though I may not watch like I used to, because I really only follow during WrestleMania season because of the nostalgia for me,
Mhm.
and going to WrestleMania in Toronto was one of like the peak highlights of my adolescence. So this WrestleMania run kind of means something to me emotionally. Yeah, man, it definitely was needed. It definitely was needed. Now, someone could probably argue with me about Roman Reigns' heel turn, but um, it was the only way that they were going to get Roman over, was to turn as a heel. I mean, but we're talking about the guy who carried the brand, like with
Mhm.
Hogan and like with Austin, finally selling into the establishment.
Yeah.
Not just going. Yeah, that's really the story of it.
I
Is to
mean,
have,
I haven't
yeah.
been there in forever, but totally, John Cena is as one of those very few wrestlers who have actually transferred into general pop culture. You're right. Maybe Hulk Hogan, The Rock, John Cena. I mean, I think it really might be just those three who have truly jumped over into
Hmm.
regular pop culture outside of the wrestling
Hmm.
fandom, I guess.
The Rock is the now. I'm not big with social media, but The
Hmm.
Rock is the most heavily followed American man in all of social media. We're talking over
No
600
shit.
million followers.
Wow.
Yeah, highest paid actor in Hollywood. So there's a appeal that The Rock has to the masses that no wrestlers has ever had, including Hulk Hogan.
Mm.
Um, and Cena, to me, in this new era, is the one, because when it comes to this digital era that we live in, he's been the face of the guy in the digital era, so it's very recognizable to it. But to it makes their brand hotter, man. It really does.
Mhm.
It really does. And there are times where you're trying to tell a history old story in a new way over and over again. And this was definitely needed as their moment to now branch into this new era for it.
Mhm.
I mean, because wrestling storylines are the same. We're not going to sit here and have this conversation about whether or not it's real. We already know the answer to that. But there comes a time in the build for it where you need something seismic to happen in order to be able to build something for the new generation, and this definitely was it.
Okay.
Yes.
I gotta ask you then. So the WWE recently moved Raw onto Netflix. Do you think this is a coincidence that this happened at that same time? Because the Netflix format brings whatever you're putting on to an international audience that traditional American cable channels just can't offer.
What is definitely going to help is to get the eyes on. So now that the eyes are on, it's up to them to keep them.
Mm.
So we'll get to see how much of this plays out after WrestleMania. But what it is with Cena is that he's retiring in December.
Oh.
So so this is it. So this is it. So this was advertised as the Cena farewell tour for the
Mm.
year. And by month three, everybody got the heel turn that they've waited over 20 years for. So you have a very good chance to tell the story with him, which now, like you were saying, since they get to broadcast this to their international audience in a way that they haven't before, it definitely is. It's the watershed moment for where the new direction of what professional wrestling is going for them. Just like how they gave us the NWO, and then we got the Austin McMahon War, and then we got the Attitude Era. Yeah, so this is definitely this is definitely the guard changing, and for them it couldn't happen at a better time.
Okay.
They are hot right now. They're hot right now. The merger with them and UFC under this banner that they call TKO, that Ari Emanuel is the head of. Dana White gets to run UFC. Triple H gets to run WWE. The Rock is on the board of both, and
Mm.
their revenues couldn't be fucking crazier. I mean, you lived in Seattle, and they just had a show in Seattle this week. Now they did lose some names off the card, and it wasn't a massive, massive card, but they're selling out places everywhere that they go, and those tickets are not cheap. Those tickets are not cheap whatsoever. I tell people, when I went to WrestleMania in 2002 in Toronto, we sat fourth row, got to bring home our chairs. I still have my WrestleMania chair here in the house from that event. Those three seats cost us $2,700, 900 a piece, right? Um, $2,700 ain't getting you shit at a WrestleMania nowadays. It'll get
Damn.
it'll get you on the risers. It'll get you a good seat if it was a football game going on for it, but it's not going to get you on the floor with a souvenir take home chair. And if you were to go with the look at the availability of what's left on the floor for WrestleMania right now, those dudes are making their money. Put it
Well,
to you
that's
like this:
crazy.
they had half the crowd last night that in Sky Dome and Rogers Center. They had half the crowd that was there when we went for WrestleMania, and that crowd last night was the highest grossing attendance that they've ever had for a show in Canada. And there were
Wow.
30,000 people less than what we were there for in WrestleMania. Those dudes are making paper.
There we go. There we go, man. I mean, for what it's worth, dude, the reason I knew about the whole John Cena heel thing was it was all over social media. And that's kind of where you know, because usually you have to look up something like WWE to get into it, but when you're just scrolling your phone and you see it. And then one other thing I would add that was not in the 90s, the early 2000s, the 80s, etc., is if you turn on your ESPN app on the home page, scroll down a little bit, you'll find the WWE. So it's crossed over into a popularity level that I didn't see it going to, but here it is.
On the ESPN page on YouTube, 759,000 views. That's the ESPN page. On the actual WWE page, 3.5 million views already.
Well, there we go. If it's hot, we'll get into it, man. Y'all seen us talk women's hoops. Y'all seen us talk WWE. We love baseball. We love football. They're not playing games right now, but bro, thank you for dropping some knowledge, man. I learned quite a bit here because a diehard fan at one point in my life, I've been absent for, like I
Mhm.
said, about 25 years.
And again, there's only certain times of the year where I care. It just so
Yeah,
happens that this is the time of the year that I care.
no doubt. No
You
doubt.
know. Well, we could talk about something that's in your wheelhouse. Uh, Heard a golfer choked pretty good today on a water hazard hole. Blew his
I know one guy that lost a couple balls on Saturday evening too. You might be talking to right now.
Jake Knapp. Jake Knapp loses his lead at the Consignment Classic.
Oh my gosh, did he really fall apart like that?
Yes, sir.
Damn. I gave up on that a little too early. He was killing it early in the tournament.
Yes, sir. Oh, oh, here's another fun one. We did a segment on when keeping it real goes wrong. Talking about John Tay Porter. Did you happen to hear the Fresno State basketball players were betting on their own stat lines using Prize Picks?
I did hear about that, and that'd be really hard not to, man. I can score more than 10 points. Damn it, I can score more than 10 points.
Even though it's daily fantasy sports and not considered a sports book, so they can legally get away with it in all 48 states. You should trust me. The streets is watching. And when I mean the streets, I mean the FBI, son.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to get mixed up in that for the pennies that they're putting on and receiving from that sort of shit, dude.
At all. At all. They said we got a John Cena heel turn before they got GTA 6.
I need to beat more than 3 levels on GTA 5 first, bro. Shit, I'm living in yesteryear. I'm just trying to catch up.
Do you still steal cop cars and beat people with baseball bats and fuck hookers?
Oh, absolutely, bro. But you know how my wife is. She's the nicest person on the planet. My wife drives the speed limit and follows the road rules on GTA. What's that about?
Tell me you're from Ohio without telling me you're from Ohio, Katie.
Oh shit, bro.
Man, whole lot of fun tonight. Whole lot of fun tonight. Anything else you got for the people?
Man, just shout out to the live chat. Y'all are so important to this show. You'll bring a different energy we never had before we went to YouTube Live. So thank you so much to everyone on the live chat, to my co-host LGOGRG. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Oh man. Oh man. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it, y'all. Oh man. Fun times, fun times. Don't forget, man, it's getting ready to ramp up. March Madness is coming through. For those of you who want to follow along or do the challenge, don't forget opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. $10 on every underdog for the first 4 days. So up until we get to the Sweet 16, we're doing 10 on every underdog in the NCAA tournament for the first 4 days. Uh, Ginger Fit Dad, thank you to the Eagles for beating down the Chiefs, man. That'll never get old to me. That'll never get old to me. We had 24 points, they didn't have 24 yards. That'll never get old to me. The best image of the world. Jalen Carter smacking Mahomes in the face and no flag. Just fantastic. Just fantastic, man. Ooh, good times, good times. This is all, as always, this is about on my, it's another sports podcast brought to you by the good folks at Vaden Podcast Services. You can follow us each and every Sunday live here on the airwaves of YouTube. And thank you to the live chat for following with us. For those of you who can't make it with us on Sundays, the recordings of the show do drop every Monday night and Tuesday morning, wherever you like to get your favorite podcast from. A huge shout out to our social media director, Miss Katie Matsumoto. Thank you for all that you do and the hard work that you put in. Be sure to follow us on our socials. My ASP. You can follow us here on YouTube, Facebook, MySpace, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and coming soon, Tyler's OnlyFans. As always, we want to give a big shout out to Vader Podcast Services for making this show possible, making us sound like $1,000,000. Our super producer, Indy, coming to you out of Nashville, Tennessee. Be sure to check out his music page here on YouTube, Death to Indy. Check out some of his tracks. As always, we invite you to come join us every Sunday. Download Discord, shoot Indy a message. We'll get you right here on the show with us. Hey, man, we thank you for all you do. Thank you for being a part of us. The show isn't possible without you. And we hope you join us each and every Sunday live for another broadcast of My Oh My. It's another sports podcast.